Hey everybody, it's Matt Michaels. I'm joined with Simon Street, Sin City Steve, and the one and only PJ and Luke Hawx. How you guys doing?
What's up? Doing all right. How about y'all? How y'all doing over there?
Great.
Good, man. How about
Good.
yourselves?
How you guys dig in the background with the infant PJ Hawx right there and the bottom of my smile? I'm guessing y'all see the same thing I'm seeing. His head and my lips.
You know what? I got to tell you, I'm digging it. I feel like it's a full house. Like there's going to be some credits down there, and they're going to show our names down there.
You know, the amazing thing about that picture is, and we can kind of see your lips, Luke, with the little smile, but PJ, you look so happy in that picture. What do you have any recollection at all about when you were that age?
I was just born, but I remember especially when I was like 3, 4. I can remember. At least the photos help me remember. But I mean, every photo from when I was a kid, I was always smiling every picture. There's one. They dressed me up. You know Winnie the Pooh, right? Tigger.
Yeah.
They dressed me up Tigger, and I'm crying. I'm all mad. I was really angry. It's the only picture that makes me mad. But other than that, you know, I mean, it's just I was happy. You know, I had a good childhood. You know, I was always hanging out with my mom, my dad, my grandma. You know, playing video games, playing with my friends. So it was just, you know, I remember good times. You know.
He was an infant in that photo. Obviously, he was only maybe 2 months old, I think.
Yeah.
Still spoiled though.
I love the fact that your first gimmick was Tigger.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was mad about that. I don't remember why. I just feel like I didn't like the costume. Maybe it was too hot or something like that. You know, we're in Louisiana, and it's just You know, it's even then in October.
Well, you guys know the heat. You're in Vegas, so it's. I mean, it's just as bad here. Actually, it's worse, but it's humid here. See,
it's worse down there.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, but it is what it is. We deal with it. We love it. And if I could get around the heat, I'd be living in California.
Seriously, right?
But I don't want to pay that rent, you know?
I was just about to say that. That's the only thing about living in
yeah.
California. I can't afford it.
I don't think the 5 of us together could afford the rent in California.
For real, bro. Yeah. They're crazy. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring you guys on. You know, we talked last year, and we talked a lot. It was Father's Day about being, you know, a father and son involved in wrestling. Since then, PJ has gone on to achieve a little bit of fame for jumping off the top of the edge of was that a mall that happened at?
Yeah, it was the Esplanade Mall.
Crazy ass shit, man.
First of all, since then, have you received any type of attention like you did just from that clip?
And attention as in from like what's transpired after that, like you talking about like the social media.
Yeah. Have people been, you know, more interested in PJ Hawx as a brand?
I wouldn't say more interested. You know, it's definitely brought attention. You know what I mean? But if anything, it's just brought more eyes on me. And same thing with Hawx Aerie. You know what I mean? There's people paying attention more, and then same thing to WildKat as a whole. But you know, occasionally I do get that like, you're the guy that jumped off the mall. You know what I mean? Or you know, I mean, or everybody asks, you know, how it was, and I always have to hit the line. You know, you're the first person to ask me this question, right? But it's just, it was a cool moment. You know what I mean? And I'm just glad that I did it. And you know, I'm not saying I'm going to do it again, but it was cool to do it once.
We did get a lot of attention, especially him. But the thing was, once COVID hit, that happened in February. COVID hit, you know, around the same time, and then everything got halted in March. So we didn't really get to ride the wave the way we should have.
Right.
Hopefully when things return back to normal, we can pick back up. But I think that, you know, the day and age that we live in, everything's here today, going tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
So when they're looking for the next big thing, that attention span doesn't last long. When they look for the next big thing or the next big video or the next who's hot. So I think for us, it's just going back into the lab, getting in the gym, you know, working really hard and moving forward as a team and putting out great content to stay relevant and to stay active and to have people's interest in us.
And one quick follow-up on that, Luke, being the fact that you are a trained and professional stunt person.
Well, so is he.
Yeah, we both are.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. At what point I guess, PJ, did you get kind of interested in that? And Luke, did you ever think that one day you'd see your kid following in your steps in that regard? You know, not necessarily wrestling regard, but just as.
I don't think he was really interested in it. He showed signs. He'd make comments as a kid, like around, 10, 11, 12 years old. We would go out and do things. I remember one day we were on a slip and slide, and he was doing some dangerous stuff. And I said, stop, because you're going to get hurt. And I'm like, you're going to break your leg. You're going to do something stupid. And he said, I'm a stuntman, just like you, Dad. So that was pretty cool. So, but his main focus was always the wrestling.
Yeah.
And he fit some descriptions for some films. And, of course, we work out and we do things. And there's certain things I would like to do with him, and I would like him to get involved in that industry. So I started really kind of just guiding him and pushing him because it was there. And he took the interest and he took the initiative to not to get himself started in it because I was doing it. But once I got his foot in the door and said, hey, you have some opportunity with this outside of wrestling, and you see how well I do with it, you can do well too. He started leaning in towards that. But at the same time, his love was wrestling. His love was just strictly pro wrestling. But he wasn't one to shy or turn down those opportunities. And not, again, he would work very hard for those opportunities as well because it came. It's not like he just got him and said, hey, my dad got me this opportunity. I'm just going to go do it, whatever. He put 110% effort into it.
Right. Yeah. And just to sum up on that too, it's like you said, he started, when did you start? 09? I want to say 09.
Well, I started 06, but I got sacked in 09.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And I started right after high school. I want to say it was freshman year of college, I want to say. And it was just something else for me to do, He was doing it, and I've always seen the movies he's done. It's been real cool, see him get kicked by the Rock, see him get stabbed by a Wolverine, get shotgunned by Jason Statham. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then one day he's like, you got an opportunity to do it. I'm like, take it, A lot of people don't have that. And might as well get my foot in another door.
A lot of things with films are description based. Yep. So his size, he has a really good size and look to fulfill a lot of those roles and opportunities. Where me, I'm very limited because of my size, because I'm tattooed, I'm bald, I'm jacked, so I can't really double guys. He can stunt double for a lot of guys. He has way more opportunities than I have at it. So it would be foolish of him not to take advantage of those because we've got to work, right? Even outside of wrestling. Let's be honest here. It's like wrestling's a full-time job for me, but it took me 13 years to get there. So I've been wrestling 21 years, so I started in 99, so 21 years. And it took me 13 years of grinding to start making a living as a professional wrestler. Yeah. So, at that age, why not get those? And here's the other thing was with wrestling, everywhere I go, I have other wrestlers, even if I'm in backstage at WWE, like, hey, man, help me get involved in the movie industry. I want to get in the movie industry. I want to be a stuntman. I want to be an actor. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? So it's one of those things where everybody really wants to do it. Not everybody wants to put the effort in, but everybody wants a hookup. They want to just get in. And I didn't even give him the hookup. It was like, hey, you have the opportunity, but you got to work for it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think my first film, I took, 30 falls?
It was they kicked his ass. They kicked his ass, and they made him, really go for it. And they made him question himself, like, hey, is this something I really want to do? Because it's hard, and it's painful, and it hurts, and it's nerve-wracking. Just, it's not the glitz and glamour you see in the film.
Right.
There's a lot of work, that goes into it, and a lot of pain, obviously, and stress. Like anything else, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
Incidentally enough, I just got done watching a documentary on Shudder TV where they're talking about cursed horror movies, but they got a chance to talk to the guy he was a stuntman, but he was also played as Jason Voorhees. Oh, wow. I forget his name, but he was talking about as a stuntman, sometimes things happen according to plan. Yes, that was his name. Yeah, and he was saying how things just you get in the business of being a stuntman and things just don't always go according to plan. It can't happen. Has there ever been experiences y'all have been in to where you had a plan, you went in obviously, and it just didn't happen according to plan?
Well, his first movie was very dangerous because the thing with stuntmen is we don't get the glitz and glamour that the actors get. We are 100% replaceable We're really not. But in the film's mind, they treat you completely differently as they would an actor.
Yeah.
As an actor, if Brad Pitt's doing something, and Brad Pitt's an awesome guy, sticks up for stunts, but if Brad Pitt's the actor on the film, whatever he says goes. Whatever he wants goes, whatever, if he wants to take a 10-minute break, if he's prepping for something, they kind of go around him. With us, we have to sit around and wait. Hurry up and wait, the saying is. And then when they're ready to go, we got to go. And we got to nail it every time. We have to be precise. We're not treated as well. And if we can't do the job, they're like, hey, get this guy out of here. I want somebody else. And then they don't want to use you anymore. So everything you do has to really be precise. And I'll give you a prime example of this. My good friend and stunt training partner, John Berniger, passed away a few years ago on Walking Dead. And that made international news.
Yeah.
And that was something that could have been prevented. They were doing a walkthrough. They were doing a rehearsal. He died on a rehearsal.
Wow.
Because they skipped corners and didn't take the safety precautions because for whatever reason, right? But I guarantee you, you put whatever actor up there, A-list actor, whatever, main actor, they're going to take every precaution they can to make sure he's safe. Guys like us, they don't care about, because if something happens to us, they move on to the next one. The film doesn't depend on us. It depends on us to get the action done and the big stunts done. But as a whole, nobody's buying the film because we're in it. They're buying it to see because they're pushing whatever actor's supposed to be in it or because of the story. So it's difficult in that way because you just have to be on it. I'll let him tell you his first experience as a stuntman.
Oh yeah, it was somewhere in West Bank, over here, probably 20 minutes. But it's called Semper Fi. It just came out September last year, right?
Right.
And it was supposed to be this bar scene. I'm getting in a fight with one of the main actors, and I'm supposed to hit my head on a porcelain. He punched me. I'm supposed to hit my head on the toilet or urinal, and I die. And
this is the main plot of the movie.
Right. He goes to jail because he kills me, and that sets all the rest of the plot. And originally they were supposed to have a foam toilet, but they didn't get it. So there was just a porcelain urinal, and they had like a little thin foam pad that I just had to put on there. And I had to just he punched me, fall, hit my head on the floor, and then just fall on the floor, do it again, and again,
but
and again.
The thing is, it was supposed to be a rubber toilet.
Right.
It was supposed to be a rubber urinal. And the director was like, wait, he's a stuntman. He can't hit his head on the urinal? And it's like, are you freaking kidding me?
He wanted me to fall backwards.
He wanted him to fall backwards and just crack the back of his head on an actual urinal.
What?
And we're like, are you freaking kidding me? This is a true story. This guy's like, I thought stuntman can just do that. Well, yeah, we can just smack our freaking heads on concrete or on porcelain, and he would really die if that happened, just like the freaking script.
Exactly.
So myself, I'm there. I wasn't even working on it at the time. I worked on a different scene, but I'm there with him, and then a stunt coordinator who was very well sticking up for the situation, and he said, look, I clearly told you needed this for the film. Yeah. Now we have to, tiptoe around it and change some things up to make it safe for this guy, because I'm not going to have my stuntman die, right, or get seriously injured, just so you can get a shot. But back in the day, some guys wouldn't do it. Some guys would be like, yeah, it's going to hurt, but I could probably do that, just because they want the experience of being in a movie or saying they did something. And people don't think with logic like this. No, this will probably kill you for real. Yeah. So thank God that he had me there. Thank God that the stunt coordinator was
very well carrying me.
Yeah,
sure everything was good. We took precautions,
but it was a big ordeal, and it turned into, he can't do that. Well, we'll just get somebody who can do it. No, there's nobody who can do it unless you're a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you mentioned Brad Pitt earlier. Now for me, I don't know much about being a stunt worker, right? But, as you know, Brad Pitt played in Quentin Tarantino's film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. Do you feel that was an accurate portrayal of, some of the scenes where he was talking about the lifestyle of a stuntman?
So I haven't actually seen it yet, and that's shame on me. I don't watch many films. I don't watch TV in general. I'm not really a big follower of anything going on social media or films, or I do my thing every day. I'm in my routines. I'm in my workouts. I'm in my work mode. I'm trying to spend time with, the family, the girlfriend, the friends, whatever I can do. So I don't actually spend a lot of time on the internet or watching TV. I have the film. I'm going to watch it actually soon, and I've been planning on it. We were going to make a movie night and watch it. But Brad is one of those guys who always sticks up for stunts, and that's one of the reasons why he did that movie. He speaks out against. There's a few guys. Statham's another one. Statham's a big advocate for stuntmen. So it's nice to have those guys with the A-list background appreciate what we do and realize how hard we work. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching this film though. So it's the next movie I'm going to watch.
Well, then awesome. I have to hit you up once y'all watch it because again, not knowing anything about the industry, I observed a lot of the role, and I know he's very serious as an actor of really. He really wants to do a good job of whatever character he's doing. So I imagine he did his homework, obviously, from what you're telling me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And, speaking of your stunt work, I mean, I looked at your IMDb earlier and you've got like 5 things coming out very, very soon. One thing that really stood out to me was working with Marvel Studios for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. How was that experience?
Really great. I did that in November or December last year, I believe. I fought with Bucky. And,
nice.
And actually me and Anthony got along really good. Anthony Mackie, because he's a New Orleans boy. So once he found out we were New Orleans boy, we were shot in Georgia. So once he's like another New Orleans boy was on set, we started talking and got along. But Bucky, me and Sebastian is his name, man, we were like this the whole time filming because he's a massive wrestling fan.
Oh wow.
So everything between every scene, he came by me and we were just talking wrestling. He's like, hey, like the first day I was there, he's like, I heard you were a wrestler, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and then once he seen, I think he's like, yeah, I heard it. He's like, I watch some indies, but he goes, I mainly watch the main stuff. But he's like, I really like the back in the day stuff. So he's talking about Hogan and Andre and Don Morocco and all those guys. So, and Macho Man. So we were really going at it about that stuff. And it was really cool because to have somebody outside of the industry appreciate what you do and be such a fan, which transitions over, he really wanted to work with me. So it's nice. Cool when guys get excited about working with you. And of course, you're always excited about working with them. So that scene was a big fight scene. And that's the 3rd episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe. That's not out yet, is it?
No, we're waiting. No. I'm waiting. God damn it.
Okay.
I want to see that.
Because I knew everything got pushed back. So everything's on hold. And they're not even nearly finished filming that first because everything obviously with that's on hold. And they got shafted because I think it was December because right after that, they were going to Puerto Rico to shoot for like 2 months, I believe. And that's when the earthquakes happened in Puerto Rico. So all the film halted still for that. So they were behind right before COVID. So they got double screwed.
Man.
So let's talk a little bit about WildKat Wrestling.
Let's talk, baby.
Let's start at the general. If let's say I was a new student, let's say I was someone who got interested, wanted to sign up, what would be my first? What would I go through first? Would it be, signing up and going straight into training? How do you start accolading a person into the wrestling school?
Well, for me, everybody's different, and I believe that you should earn your place in the ring. A lot of schools start off, as soon as you come there, you get in the ring, they want to bump you and hurt you and make you feel the bumps and stuff. That stuff don't matter to me. It's a part of the game, but for me, you have to be physically fit. And I don't mean that you have to be jacked up, shredded up, doing whatever and look a certain way like a cookie cutter. What I mean is you have to be able to do anything athletic that is needed for your actions in the ring. Right. So we put you through a series of drills and exercises that you must complete before you earn your spot to go into the ring. And you always have to be able to do these drills at any given time. And you can never die out on them or you get taken out of the ring. So it's difficult, and most people quit because of that, because they come in and they go, well, I didn't come here to exercise. I came here because I want to learn to wrestle. And they think they're Kane, they're going to come in and the pyro's going to go off right when they walk in the door. And that's what they want. Or they want to get on the top rope. And I get it because you're a fan. So you want to get in the ring. But you have to realize that so much more goes into wrestling than just moves.
Yes.
And you have to be safe, strong, athletic. You can't be out of shape. You can't be in there going, sucking wind. And you know, but I'll give you a prime example. We had a guy sign up, a really nice kid. He signed up a couple weeks ago, and he was going after the first day because he couldn't do one push-up. He couldn't do one push-up. So they come to these schools, and they like, what have you been doing all this time? Nothing. I just usually play video games, or I work at, you know, the supermarket, or and it's like, so you don't even go to the gym, you don't do anything athletic, and you're going to come sign up for wrestling training. And I'll take those all day as well, right? Because our job is to get you in shape and get you to do it. I don't care if you cannot do the work. The goal is to get you to be able to do the work. But to be able to do that, you have to have that hungry attitude and want to grind.
Push past your limits.
Right, and most don't want to do that. Most just want to come in and they want the glory, especially with people this day and age. They want instant gratification. They want to get on Facebook and say, look, I'm at wrestling training. Like me, I'm a star. Subscribe.
Wow. Now that you just said that, like, I can't even comprehend that. Like, you know, I mean, remember Luke, the just starting out as a wrestler back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, remember there was just nothing? Or
So, hey, you're getting some
yeah. We'll take the
No, we're good. We're good. Sure.
But yeah,
COVID's got me. I'm just
but I mean, could you imagine having that as part of when you learned? Because it just floors me, man. I can't even think. Like, some of the jackasses who were in class, and when I say jackasses, that's how they acted. You know, they were
ass clowns.
Yeah, they weren't there to be serious. They were there to fuck around. But I could see them having, if they had access to fucking videoing and being on Insta. Oh man, my head's hurting, man. How are you processing that in like this new age? Do you see the difference between someone who wants to just be famous and someone who wants to actually be a wrestler?
all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been there. So he's been there since day one. He's grew up with us since we started WildKat in 2011. But he can tell you.
Yeah. You know, the big thing was when I came from amateur wrestling, it's the same thing. When people, you know, were going to join the team, they'd come in and you'd see they'd want to be there for a little while, especially, you know, football players, whatever. And they'd be like, it's too tough. You know what I mean? They talk a big game and they're gone. It's the same thing. You go there, you know, where we get to WildKat, we got some new people. Okay, great. You know, and they're there. And all of a sudden they talk a big game, but then they can't do the exercises or, you know, they can't run for a while or something like that. And it's too tough. It's like, well, you want to be a wrestler, right? It's not easy. It's not just you get in the ring and all of a sudden you're a superstar, like he's saying. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of people don't realize how much effort it is to be. There's levels to everything, of course, to be average, good, great, better, the best, you know, and everybody's got to get through that. But a lot of people think that you're just going to go from nothing to the best automatically. Right. That's not how it works.
And again, they want the instant gratification. You can be the nicest guy in the world to them, but as soon as you tell them something they don't like, you're a bad guy. Mm-hmm. You become evil to them. You become the problem. Like, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and everything we have is set up for success. Right. So if you do what you're being told to do, then you're going to succeed and move past each phase of the wrestling, right? And training. But most don't do that. They get very comfortable, or they do the bare minimum just to get past the next step, and then they fall behind again. And they don't like when you get on their ass. Right. They want to be told they're great. They want to be told they're good. They want you to sit there and pat them on the back and say, good job, you're awesome, you're the best thing to ever come here.
Mm-hmm.
Or that was okay, you know, you can get better, but that was okay. They hate me until, and this is the type of coach I am. I'm nice at first, but once I get frustrated and you know you're not doing what I'm telling you to do, or I'm asking you to do what needs to be done, I'm not going to tell you anything other than you're wrong, it's terrible, or you suck. And if you don't want to do it, don't get out of the ring or don't come.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time.
Right.
So I'm not asking you to be a pro wrestler. You're coming to me because you want to be a pro wrestler. And I have the tools to teach you how to be a pro wrestler. But it's up to you to put in that work and not BS us, not cut corners, not look for the easy way out, because 9 times out of 10, they are going to look for the easy way out. And that's unfortunate because it doesn't add up in the end.
Right, exactly.
And then the coaches or the school becomes a problem. I see it every day. You know, it's like, oh, well, he's mean. Well, no, he's not really mean. You're just bullshitting. And you're not doing what's asked of you or what's a necessity. And if you are doing it, you're doing it badly and bare minimal, and you're just not making any progress. So what's the point? You know, you can't go to a job and not do your job without getting reprimanded, right? If you're late every day, if you're not doing what needs to be done, you're going to get docked. You're going to get fired. You're going to get written up. So with this is, you know, I take it seriously. Like, I don't want guys missing practice. Miss if you have to, because it just holds you back. If you want to be there, nobody needs to tell you. Look, every day, and I'll use this as an analogy. Every day, no matter what, I go to the gym and I do what I need to do. Nobody has to wake me up. Nobody has to tell me. Nobody has to force me to do it. Nobody has to say, hey, come on, man, you got this today. And there's going to be up and down days, good and bad. Some days I do not feel like going to the gym. Some days I'm just wore out. But you know what? My ass gets up and goes, and I do what I got to do. And I'll go above and beyond. And, I mean, he does the same thing. So it's kind of – he's watched me do that, so it's kind of transferred over into him. And that's one of those things where I didn't actually teach him a work ethic. He just seen my work ethic, and he found inspiration, I would think, in that. And he always wants to kind of outdo me, which is cool because I want him to be better than me.
Right.
So, Luke, let me ask you a question. With everybody that comes in to your school, are there people that come in with a dream or a passion for this industry that you kind of have to just give them the reality check, or do you kind of walk with them until they reach that reality standpoint and then they see it for themselves? Everything has to be
upon each person, right? You can't just give and say, yeah, we do it this way. Everybody is depends on each individual, how they're treated. Some come in, I'll give you an instance. We have a girl who just started with us. Her name is Morgan. And the first day she started, she drives an hour and a half to practice every day. She's from Mississippi. The first day she started, she outperformed all the guys in their exercises. She worked harder than all the guys, and some have been there for a year and a half, 2 years. And then in the middle of practice, we had all of a sudden a session where everybody started talking for about 10 to 15 minutes straight. And they had 2 or 3 guys in the ring going over some stuff, and me and one of the other coaches on the side of the ring. One of the coaches in the ring, Perry's in the ring, and then the rest of the guys are in the back just BSing for like 10 minutes straight. And one of the coaches, Jay Spade, actually stopped class right there. And he said, it's whatever time it is. For the last 10 minutes, everybody in here except the people around the ring have been screwing off. They've been talking, joking around, ha, 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 getting loud. And this new girl, the only girl here, is sitting by herself. Even though she's finished all her exercises, she's sitting by herself just watching everything that goes on in the ring and sucking up what we're teaching the more advanced class. While everybody else is like, oh, I'm not in the ring right now, so it doesn't pertain to me. I'm going to go over here and screw off with my friend. So it really depends on your attitude coming in and how hard you want to work.
Okay.
Definitely. And, very recently, WildKat Sports released their first ever crowdless content.
Yeah, that was really cool. What'd you think?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how was the experience different than, a normal show? And obviously, in light of what's going on, what kind of steps were taken to ensure the safety of the performers?
I'll let the young buck.
Yeah, it was cool. The main thing with me is it's no different than when you're training at school or doing whatever. You know, a crowd can, I love the crowd. I wish the crowd was there. But to me, and I'm not saying it doesn't make a difference as in I don't care about the crowd. It's just, but it's wrestling, you know what I mean? And for me, it's the same thing as my psychology is I'm going on the mat and I'm wrestling a guy. The only person I'm paying attention to is my coach.
Yes.
It's the same thing there. You know, you're going in the ring. You got a job to do. You're wrestling your opponent. You're trying to win, correct? So even if the crowd's not there, you know, it's just you focus on the match. And I think that's the big thing. And it was cool because I think everybody went in there and they did their job and they just wrestled, you know what I mean? You're not pandering to the crowd, trying to get hype and all that stuff. It's just you're focused on the wrestling. You're telling the story. And safety, you know, everybody's spread out. You know, we have mat cleaners. We're spraying the ring down, you know, sanitizing the ropes and everything. We're taking a lot of precautions to make sure that everybody's safe.
We took as many precautions as we can, possibly.
Yeah.
The hard thing is we leave it up to each individual to really decide if they're safe enough to come or comfortable enough to come. We said if you're not comfortable, you don't have to come.
Right. If you're anyway kind of sick, sniffles, coughing.
Anything, please stay home. If you have any kind of cold or just even a sinus infection, stay home.
Yeah.
If you don't feel good that day, stay home. Because obviously it's something that we can't control, well, completely control, right?
Right.
But we have to get some content out, and you know we started practice again. Practices resumed, and the same difference is we're cleaning up. Bought a bunch of spray and stuff for the ring. We're sanitizing everything, but I tell everybody, and I'll reiterate this on here, is that if you do not feel good in any way, shape, or form at this time, stay your ass home.
Without a doubt. Awesome.
Do you think that, you know, and it's really interesting because of the fact that I think we've been conditioned as a society to, you have to show up at work, you know, because you're not getting all these days off, you're not getting paid and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it makes it even double-edged because now that you have that mentality, you have something you're passionate about in learning how to be a wrestler or continuing to train as a wrestler. So how have they been receptively to listening to what you're actually saying and realizing, hey, if I don't feel well, it's not going to cost me in the end, that I'm actually showing that I have more respect for everyone by making sure that I'm not exposing anyone to.
It's a double-edged sword because there's a lot of people who want to take advantage of that just because they are lazy. Let's be honest. And that's no different than any regular job, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you called in every time you didn't feel like working, you'd probably never work. Or it happened once or twice a week. Like people just want that advantage. So hey, I don't feel good today. I'm not going to come in. Look, I'm in the gym every day. No, I keep saying this, but I want to do those things. I want to be in the gym, and because I have an end result. So I feel like I have to go, and I want to go. It's no different than work. I'm not saying I want to go to work every day. I hated my job growing up. I hated being in the plumbing business or going to a bar all night long and bouncing or bartending or whatever. A lot of those times, like, you just didn't want to be there because you want to do what you want to do, but it's also a necessity. So, I didn't call in sick from work. I wasn't one of those guys. I didn't believe in it unless I was actually sick.
I think the biggest difference with this too is this is a whole different type of disease, right? And it's not much different than, somebody could be, have a flu or whatever, and that could be contagious. But even then, we tell everybody, if you're sick, this has been before this even happened. We tell them, if you're sick, stay home. If you have any kind of skin disease, stay home. I tell everybody, check your body, because that was prevalent in amateur wrestling. The ringworm happened a lot. We never had cases, but I've had stories where my coach would tell me. And it's the same thing there. I tell everybody, you got to check frequently. And even though you're passionate about it, there's a difference between being injured and being sick. When you're injured, if you're sore, you just push through it, right? If you're actually hurt, like you got a real injury, like your arms broke something, you got to rest. But if you're sick, now this is a whole different ballgame because you have potential to get everybody else sick. And even that holds everybody else up. So you got to stay away, even though it's going to hurt you. It's better to just rest up, take care of yourself, and then not endanger everybody else. And we, like I said, we've been taking precautions before these even happened, but now it's even more. It's just, it's a good thing is we've said that before.
It's one of those things where you have to be a responsible adult. Right? And there's a lot of kids that don't. I mean, how many times do you go to the gym and people don't even put deodorant on?
Yeah.
It's not that hard, bro. Take a bath. Clean yourself before you come to practice. Brush your teeth. Clean yourself.
Self-care.
You know, I take a shower before I go to the gym. I take a shower after the gym.
Yeah.
It's I wipe down my machines. I pick up my weights. It's the same with everything. Just be a responsible adult. Don't be a dickhead.
Yeah. You know, PJ, you brought up amateur wrestling. When you were amateur wrestling, I remember this like it was yesterday. Did you guys ever have to take up the buckets, the mops, and wipe down the mats after?
Every day. We were very clean, and it was that was the thing though. The big thing was, so I coach in my own high school. I'm an assistant coach now, and it's changed a lot because my team. I was there from all 4 years, my freshman year to my senior year, and it was a routine. Every day we take the mats out, spray them down, go as soon as practice done, spray them down. We wipe our feet every time we get on the mat. We have bleach on a towel or the solution. We clean it up because we don't want to get sick or get any kind of disease, because the whole thing is if one of us gets it, the whole team's going to get it, and that ruins our meets, our practices, tournaments. So we can't risk that. And it's the same thing transitioning here. It's the biggest thing. Sometimes you shouldn't have to tell. Like my dad just said, and that's some of the biggest problems. Sometimes I go there, I get there, and my kids aren't putting out the mats or they're not, spraying. It's like, the routine, guys. You know what you got to do. And it's the same thing. Like, you're supposed to clean your body. You're supposed to wash off. If you're sick, you're supposed to stay home. Like, just follow directions.
Stop cutting corners.
Yeah, but that's the main thing. Though we were always clean, and the hygiene is the important thing, because it's not if you're not hygienic, you can't wrestle, you can't do whatever.
Yeah.
It takes longer to do what you want to do than if you just sit out. That's the worst part about it, and it ruins everybody else.
When you talk about the WildKat school, when you're starting with a new class, who's the one who takes them under their wings first? Is PJ, are they kind of directed to you? Do they get like an introduction from Pops, and then it's like you'll be the one kind of responsible for them a little bit? Or how are you factoring into their growth?
It's a team effort, I think, from all the coaches. From of course my dad's head trainer, and then you got Matt Lancey and Jay Spade, Buku Dow, and then you got Danny Flamingo and I said Buku, didn't I?
Jay Spade.
Yeah, Jay Spade. I said
Jace Fowler's been stepping up a lot.
Has been stepping up.
PJ stepped up tremendously and took control. There's guys who show leadership skills.
Yeah.
And you need more of that. A lot of people just want to show up and do what they're told to do and go home. There's certain ones who actually take the initiative and go above and beyond. I mean, we had a great referee named Ethan Hasselbauer. He just moved to MCW in Maryland. He just moved to Maryland.
He's fantastic.
For a job, but he was, from day one, he took an initiative. And, like, you didn't have to tell him to get the ring ready. You didn't have to tell – like, he would go there and he'd tell the other guys, let's go. The ring needs to get ready. Let's, tighten the ropes, sweep the floor.
Sammy does the same thing.
Sammy Kiss does the same thing. But it's frustrating because if not, most of them would sit there and just take their cell phone and
right,
sit down in the corner and be on their phone until somebody, okay, guys, come on, let's go, get the ring ready.
But the good news is, they're starting to pay attention more. And like I said, it's a team effort. It depends.
It is.
I'll go and show them if somebody's messing up on the exercises. I'll go in and show them the proper form. Or hey, if you can't do your push-up on your feet, then do them on your knees. And I show them, hey, don't have your butt in the air, have it lower. Or same with sit-ups. I show them the modified way. Because I still coach that, and I did it for forever.
And I want to bring this up to y'all's attention. Like, PJ doesn't coach because he's my son. PJ coaches because he's a coach.
Yeah.
He was the captain of his track team. He was the captain of his wrestling team. And then as soon as he finished wrestling, he started amateur coaching.
And I'm not showing people. I'm not the head coach by any means. I'm just saying, like, I'll go in.
He takes the initiative. He works hard, and he's a natural coach. He's very good with the guys, and he lays his foot down when it needs to be laid down. But he takes the initiative because he wants things done correctly, and he wants things done, not just correctly. He wants them done at 110% effort all the time.
Right. And
he wants the best for the company and for everybody's product. It's not about just me and him. It's about how these guys look and how they're perceived and so forth.
And that's the big thing, at least from my standpoint. I go when I step in and try to help out, it's just whatever it is. Again, if they need to do a modified, to help them modify. If they need to do it slower, I'm there. I'll tell them, but the biggest thing is don't quit, because the whole point is you're supposed to push past your limits. And you're never going to get better as a human being or performer or anything if you just stay comfortable. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to push past those limits and to grow. And that's the main thing. I try to help out and I talk to people, and it's just, hey, you guys can do it. And I said, sometimes I'll get on them, but if I have to, I will. But, if not, it's just, come on, guys, you got it. And just try to help them out, fix them, fix the form, whatever I can to do to help and just make them better. You know what I mean? That's the whole point is. Because, again, like I said, you're just not going to get any better if you're just there and you're half-assing things and just not trying your best. So I just try to make sure I do that.
Well, and that's the interesting thing that how you talk about how you instruct your students and how you get them to understand that. It sounds to me, from what anybody who's done any training could tell you, everything's interwoven. You know what I mean? And it sets you up to understand the business better, because if you think about it, you get in the ring, you got to protect one another. You're working together with one another. There's a lot of communication verbally and non-verbally, mostly non-verbally, but from what people can see from the outside. So it's setting them up step by step, so that way, as you're progressing and learning new things, they understand the core value.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but Simon, you said a very, very important thing.
You guys there? We lost you.
I think we just lost Matt. This never usually happens where I say something very, very, very intelligent. So it probably paused him for a second. He was shocked. He has not moved yet. Well,
podcast is still going on though, right?
Yeah, we're still going on, so we're still going strong. But yes, I think what Matt was alluding to was, whenever you train, it should be a building process. I think that's what he was trying to go to. It's a building process, and like you said, pushing your limits. So when you are pushing your limits, you're going to cut into some new concepts and new things that you didn't know about yourself, aspects. And it sounds like y'all got a great team of getting that together.
We really do.
That's the main thing. We just don't. We want everybody to look good, and do the best they can, And the saying is you're only as strong as your weakest link, correct? It's something like that, right?
Yep.
But it's the same thing. If somebody's slacking, it's going to look badly and perform badly on us. So we need everybody to do their best, and that's why you really got to make sure everybody's doing well and even to the best of their abilities. And because everybody again performs differently and does things differently. But again, you got to play to your strengths, work on your weaknesses, but really focus on what you can do and just keep trying to do better at that.
And you never reach your potential if you don't push past your limits.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out sometimes, Mark Bell said it best is, sometimes you need to kick yourself in the ass and go, okay, that was a little too much. Maybe I need to dial it back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn where your limits are and how to get to them and push past them.
Really quick. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
You're golden.
Yeah. All right. So actually, the problem is that when that cut out, it took me off. So for the actual recording purposes, let me just pick it up.
It looked like it was still recording, Matt. It made me automatically the host, which is weird.
Yeah, but the audio, the board wasn't recording.
I see what you're saying.
So Zoom was recording. That's preserved, but this the actual broadcast for what we'll do for audio isn't. So could we just pick it up? I'm going to ask you a question, PJ, and we'll pick it up with that, so I can just kind of find.
Hey, let me ask you really quick before we pick it up. How late do y'all plan on going?
Let's do about 10 more minutes or so.
Oh, that's perfect. Golden. Yeah, golden. I got to put in an order on something at around 8 o'clock that sells out, but it probably won't sell out in the first hour. But so I'm good.
Cool.
All right, we'll push on through right now.
Yeah, 10 minutes is fine.
Okay. So, PJ, let me ask you this. Simon kind of hit on this. When you are training people, you're literally training people that you're going to be working with. So is this something, because at a lot of schools,
we lost her again.
So, but to kind of go ahead and continue off of what Matt was saying until we can get him back, is basically you're going to be working with the people that you're training in a sense. So you definitely want to acclimate them to obviously their greater potential, as we talked about earlier, but also too of what's the appropriate way, like Luke said, not cutting corners. So that way you do it right the first time. So you have a better finished product per se. Could you walk us through those steps?
Yeah, everything for me just pertains to what I did back in high school in amateur wrestling. That, to be honest, and I recommend anybody that who wants to be a professional wrestler, if you can do any of that, it's a great foundation. You learn discipline, you learn hard work, you learn skills. I mean, chaining is based off of, that's what they did back in, the old professional wrestling days. It was wrestling. You were grappling. You were trying to beat your opponent. And it's the same thing. It's just, if you don't do something right the first time, you got to retry it. And you got to keep going, you know what I mean? It's okay to take breaks, whatever you need to, but you got to do it properly. Let's just say, if I can't body slam a guy properly, then I should not be doing that in a match, or I shouldn't even be attempting it. I need to learn that, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't do those kind of things. They try to do things that maybe they can't really do properly, and they think it's okay. And that's how somebody gets hurt, or that's how it looks bad. And that's the main thing with me, is making sure everything looks good, feels good, is done properly, the technique's good. And again, I'm not the head coach, so at the same time, I'm still taking critiques from my father, from Matt, from Jay, and I'm learning. This is the whole thing, is being a student of the game. That never ends. You can hear it, and you hear a bunch of the veterans talk about that too, is being a student of the game. And
the good thing for Perry, I think, is he's been fortunate enough his whole life to be around guys with even a lot more experience than me, and they've invested time in him. I mean, Stevie Richards is one of those guys who really pushed into that program that he worked at WildKat with Perry, PJ. Yeah. And, just all these guys, Billy Gunn, Bob Holly, who I mean, you can tell.
Tommy Dreamer.
There's been a lot of guys who see a lot of potential in PJ, and they decided to invest their knowledge into him. Booker T absolutely adores PJ. And by adoring it, he just knows P's work rate. And Booker T, when we talk about work rate, Booker T is one of those top-notch guys, right? Always been a hard worker, never see lazy, very good at whatever he does, and puts 110% into whatever he does. So, and he's seen that with P from the first days of him coming around. So Booker's always went out of his way to make sure to, drop knowledge on Perry, which is great for me, because it makes me feel good as a father.
And I definitely appreciate that, because they don't have to do that, but they take the time, like Booker, Stevie, Tommy, a lot of these guys, they take the time to help me out and teach me advice and teach me the ways they did it. And it's good for me because, again, you can never have too much knowledge, and you should always be learning. And that's the whole thing is, I'm still learning. I'm 3 years in, and I'm soaking all this information. And it's great. It's the same thing with training, I mean, the same thing in a match. I want to be able to work with anybody, and same thing with Hawx Aerie. We can go in with anybody and have a good match.
Right.
I don't think
we try.
Yeah. Well, we try, but I don't think that we would go in and we would what's the quote? I don't want to say the curse word, but trash the bed, so to speak, right? So, crap the bed, right?
Crap the bed.
But that's because, again, I want to make sure I'm doing everything properly. I'm not doing anything that I can't do. You're not going to see me do a shoot and start press because I can do it. I can't. I'm just saying, I'm sticking to what I can do right, and focusing on that. And it's the same thing in training, right? You got to, of course, fix what you need to, but then progress and learn and do it properly. And if you can't do it properly, you shouldn't do it at all.
Great call.
Well said.
What would you say is the biggest factor on why people should go to your school?
I think WildKat Sports is something that, besides maybe ROW, I don't know what other school is closer
Well,
to here, but
I think if you want to train with some of the best, you come to our school. If you want to do things proper, there's other, and I can't even call them schools because they're BS. Let's just, I'm going to call it out. They can not like me. They can get mad. There's a lot of guys who just want to be friends in wrestling. And they want to email each other on Facebook and tell each other how great they are. And they go, oh, well, this guy bought a ring. There's a lot of uncoachable people. There you go. That don't want to be coached and don't want to, they don't want to do things proper. They want to cut corners. They want to do things at their rate and whenever they want. And they want that pat on the back. So you're either the type of person that says, hey, I know the difference and I want to be part of a better product. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to put in the work and the sacrifice. Or you say, hey, yeah, I'm just going to lie to myself and I want to go tell people I'm a professional wrestler, even though I'm working at Walmart and I'm going to go wrestle in front of 20 people just to say that I'm doing it, right? Because I love giving analogies. I love it, right? If you're going to go get a hamburger, are you going to go to, you can look at two burgers and you can go, okay, Burger King has this 99-cent whatever, and it looks like crap. Or you can go to this nicer, higher-end restaurant and get a 12-ounce patty that's this thick, fully dressed, and looks very good and tastes better. But you're going to spend $10 on that burger, or you can have the 99-cent Burger King burger. A lot of people settle for the Burger King burger because it's only 99 cents. But then you see what that causes, right? Mm-hmm. And how it is. Why not just look, when I go get a steak, I'm not getting the cheapest steak I can get. I'm getting a filet because that's what I want to eat, and I want to put the best thing in my body. When I fuel my car up, I'm getting 93. Not if I'm in California because I wouldn't be able to afford 93.
Yeah, exactly.
But when I have a nice car. So when I put gas in it, I want it to run the best to its ability. So I spend the extra 30 cents a gallon and get the higher octane gasoline. So that's just the best analogy I can give to you on that. If you want to do something the right way, then you go with the best option that's possible. Now, if you're just looking to do something, you're going to go the cheapest way. You're going to go the most friendliest way or the way that's comfortable for you so you don't get as much criticism. It all depends on the person.
With anyone who's interested in becoming a student with you guys, what website should they go to? Who should they contact? What do they need to do to sign up with you guys?
So you can check us out at WildKat Sports, just at WildKat Sports, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's just WildKat Sports. You can email us at wildkatsports@gmail.com. Our website is WildKat Wrestling.
No, it's just WildKat Sports.
WildKatSports.com. And all the information's there. We have a training special right now. It goes on at the end of July, correct?
Yeah, we got a training special that's going to go on through the end of July, where it's $1,000 off training if you sign up anytime in June or July. It's $2,800. Excuse me. It's $2,800. Normally it's $3,800. And that's a lifetime membership with us. The way we do things at WildKat's a little bit different.
Wow.
Yeah, so once you pay that fee and you're done paying, you train forever. Unless you screw up and get kicked out or you want to leave. But that doesn't mean, people who leave, they can come back too. So it's all about having a good working relationship with guys and, always trying to figure out a way to make progress and be in a team effort. My big thing is just I want guys to have a team mentality, a pack mentality, work together, train together, eat together. And I'm not saying everybody has to love each other and be friends and go out together and have drinks or whatever, but just back each other up and let's work hard together and I'll help you, you help me, and let's do this together. So if you want to come to WildKat, he said all our social media, it's at WildKat Sports. If you want to follow us personally, any of my social media is at Luke Hawx 504, LUKEHAWX.
And for me, it's PJ_Hawx, HAWX.
And every Tuesday right now, we're going to be dropping a new match that we filmed with the crowd.
Awesome.
WildKat. So, match 2 is coming up this week. It is Edgerrin Stone versus Brian Keith from ROW, and that was a really good match.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that we were able to catch up with you guys, and I definitely encourage anyone who's listening or watching, please check them out. If you want to be a pro wrestler and you're down in the Louisiana area, this is the place to go, man. And being someone, and Simon as well, people who've trained, we know that one of the best things is honest and realistic training, you know. And this is where you get it. WildKat Sports down there is where you get it. And can't say enough, guys, and keep up the good work, because
thank you. It's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
we'll just continue to push forward, man. So thank you for having us on. Thank you for,
It's
asking
good
us
being
questions.
back on again. Yeah, and like I said, for the first time we did it, we had fun. This is fun again. We're looking forward to whenever else we do it again.
awesome.
Definitely. We always look forward to having you on.
And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully this COVID stuff passes and we can get back out for events.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. And again, we thank the Hawx boys for catching up with us. And thank you guys for listening. Please remember to subscribe and download the Vegas BadBoyz of podcasting. And until next time, thank you guys very much. And we'll see you next time. Okay. Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.